but we got involved in a church, Broad Street United Methodist Church, and we met some good friends. And the coolest thing is that I've been trying to find Dean all these years. Dean Metters Smith. She and her husband at the time, they had two daughters, and she worked at the church there. I think she was the youth leader, and when we met her, she had started a thing called the Jesse Tree, and I know the Jesse Tree had been around, but she made it into a, a, a it was a devotional with the Christmas tree, and every day leading up to Christmas, starting December 1st, I think, you would put on an ornament and have little devotions to go with it. Beck got so involved in that over the years, I dare say she has made the ornaments and bought the books through Amazon that come with it as a devotional, and given them out to every family member that we have, nieces and nephews and children and brothers and sisters, and so we Beck gave those out over the years. I'm not sure how many she's done, but Dean from Broad Street's the one that started it. So what we've been doing is working through that and looking for Dean, seeing if I could connect with her. And just yesterday, I got a text back from her saying, yes, we live here in Hattiesburg, and started a company, and it looks like I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's a company that does catering, maybe, or has different things. But she said that on Amazon during Christmas time, the Jesse Tree is the best seller on Amazon, even now. She said, and part of that's thanking Beck for all that she has done for that. But we've talked about getting together with her sometime, and down in Hattiesburg, and that's going to be exciting because we looked up to her and her husband. At the time, name was Rick, but I think Rick. They end up getting a divorce, but that's nothing there about that. This is all about something else, and but Dean was very instrumental in our growing as Christians, and can't say enough about that, because that was a huge part of our life growing up as an adult couple. Um, Other things that happened in those days of our life. Um, we had moved to we had just right before we moved to Manchester. Um, we were working part time at Carthage United Methodist. Jim Clardy was the pastor, and a couple named Frankie and Richie. Now Frankie was the wife, Rich was the husband. He was over, I think, a coal mining company, and but they went to Carthage United Methodist Church, and they sponsored us to Emmaus. Now that's interesting because this next weekend, I am one of the spiritual directors. I'm assistant spiritual director to the Emmaus Walk for the men in McMinnville, Tennessee, this next weekend. So be in prayer for all that. We'd appreciate that. And but in 1980, I think it was 1985. I was on walk number 46, I think it was. and it was in Nashville, and we it was it's a 3 day spiritual weekend. Golly, what an awesome time! I didn't know anybody on the walk, and but I got to know people on that walk, and that changed my life. Beck went through as a lady. They have a ladies walk too. She went through about 6 months later. Usually they go 2 weeks after the man, the husband, but she went through, and it changed our lives. And we moved the month later, maybe less than that, but at least a month later, to Manchester, Manchester, Tennessee, Manchester First United Methodist Church, and we 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 were there for about 13 years, and through that, John Halliburton. I was introduced to John Halliburton, a pastor in Tullahoma, Tennessee, and he invited me to help with Chrysalis, which was the youth version of Emmaus. And we went to a Hillmont camp way over on the other side. It was almost there by Dixon, Tennessee, and we I saw the youth that I was a part of. I had a pretty good sized youth group. About 90% of them went through Chrysalis, and then the adults started going through Emmaus, and nobody in that church had ever heard of any of that. So it was such a awesome ride through Christianity, the life of being a Christian. You know, we can say we know Jesus. We have some facts about him. You know about Jesus, but do you know Jesus? That's the question. I've known many a person going to church that know about Jesus, but they don't know Jesus. Every church I've ever been to, they're friendly people, nice people. They come ever so often to church, but there's no heart desire to know Jesus anymore. There's a few of them out there that are really searching, but most think they've got it all together. They know what they need to know, but they depend on other things to give them strength. It might be drinking, it might be smoking pot. It might just be eating too much, wherever you think you're getting your strength from. And I think we've left the scriptures. We think just a body of people is going to help us know Jesus, and it's true. It does help us search the scriptures to find God in certain ways, but it's still up to us personally to go into the scriptures and find that. We need those kind of people around us. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "The people you choose to surround yourself with matters because with your wait, let me say this again. The people you choose to surround yourself with matters because it can affect your character." And it tells us that bad company corrupts good character. It ruins good morals. If you're with people that want to go play golf on every Sunday, and not, I mean, I love golf. I love golf, but I'm not going to play on Sunday, not unless it's after church. I don't even know if I'll do it on Sunday. My dad used to, after church, he'd be at golf on Sunday, Wednesdays and Sundays. But for us, we're called to be in Christ. But First Corinthians tells us that bad company corrupts good character. It ruins good morals. The way you behave, feel, and think. Character is what makes you unique and different. So, who do you surround yourself with? Does it take you away? Do you see that they don't go to church, so you don't go to church? It's not important to them, so it's not really that important. Um, if you're one of those that are bringing people away from God by taking them away from church, you need to ask God to forgive yourself. You know, to ask God to forgive you. And I've had two funerals in this last week. Um, I had a funeral Thursday. Miss Reba Ford passed away, and she loved her husband, loved her Lord, and she never wanted to depart from that. And praise the Lord. Also had Jeff Comer, a good friend of ours, passed away a little over a week ago, and 2 Sundays ago actually. And when I got the call about that, I was in a small group with him on Thursday nights. Him and a bunch of guys, and Jeff loved the Lord, and he loved the kids there in the youth groups there at and it's just when we just saw him, he said, "Listen, I've got this. I know where I'm going. I don't want to go, but I know where I'm going, and it's going to be a great, glorious time." And it was such an honor to be with Jeff all these days. When we look at people that have influenced us, I was invited, and it wasn't a good invite. I don't want to say who it was, but it was like I was invited to go to camp. Okay, I think it was 80, 86, 87, somewhere in there, and 86. And I didn't know anything about camp. I was excited about being part of it. I wanted to see what all was going on. And they came to our church fellowship hall and said, "Hey, if you know anybody else, So I invited a young lady that might want to be part of it. Her name was Denise Dix, and it was me and her. And when we got there, a man named John Arnold. This is how I met John, my best friend forever. He's passed away now. I talked about that, but. It was just us and one other person, maybe another adult, a youth, and the guy that was running that he was a district leader for our district, and he said that this is what it's going to be, camp, and he hadn't been able to get anybody else. It was just this group. There was just 3 or 4 of us going to run camp, and I've never run camp before in my life, and I was just excited about being part of this. I wanted to watch what they were going to do. Well, none of them were going to be there, and said, and he pulled these pages out of a vacation Bible school. We're going to do the journeys of Paul. 1, 2, 3. There you go. We're going to talk about that, and I won't be there because I've got to go look at the Appalachian Mountain Trail for something my church is doing, and so I'll be there on Monday, and I'll be back on Friday. I wanted to jump across the table and beat